All right, it's time to get serious. Let's have a serious discussion about this movie based on a comic book character from DC Comics. This serious movie, this serious film. Oh my gosh. Hi, I'm Andre, I'm a black nerd, and this is just my thoughts about the Joker movie. I just saw it recently. I didn't get a chance to see it when it came out because I was ironically at New York Comic Con. I just saw it on my own when I got back from New York. I know a lot of people have already talked about it. Regular spoilers. There's probably gonna be some spoilery type stuff in this because it's been out for a few days. Due to social media / internet talk, I feel like that there's a lot of people putting a lot of extra personal context in this film. There was a lot of rhetoric. A lot. You got some people like, the Joker's just like me. He's misunderstood. I'm misunderstood. Society treats him wrong. Society treats me wrong. And there's been a lot of discussion about, is that the right thing to tell people? Is this the right time to have that discussion? Is this wrong? Will it be copycats? Should there be concern about someone looking at this and, being violent themselves? And I know a lot of that also happened before the movie even came out. So a lot of this discussion was happening without people actually seeing the movie. Some people had seen it, obviously, because it played at film festivals and stuff in advance. But there's a lot of people that were talking about the movie just based on their assumptions of the film. First off, the performances. Great performances. Joaquin Phoenix, great in this as Joker, as Arthur Fleck. You can see all the different mannerisms he does, all the different emotions that he plays. You see the transformation into Joker. It's all done well. And it's a different type of Joker than the Jokers we've seen before. It's different from Heath Ledger. It's different from Jack Nicholson. It's definitely different from Jared Leto. And the cinematography is very good. It's shot very well, beautifully shot. It is a standalone movie because this movie is a straight up origin story. Like the story that we're told about Joker in this entire movie in a Batman movie probably would have been like the first act. So it would have been nice to see what would happen in the next level of this Joker tale based on what was established with this character and this portrayal of the Joker. But I don't know if that's going to happen. He works as a clown. He's basically a clown for hire for anything you need. Children's birthday parties, holding a sign outside of a store. Of course, that's the irony there, is that this is a guy who's living a sad and tragic life while at the same time working as a clown and wanting to make people laugh, and then also aspiring to be a stand-up comic. And he watches the Murray Show played by Robert De Niro. His dream is to be on that show and to be loved by Robert De Niro's character in this, by Murray. I found it interesting that there's a lot of part of the movie in this where you start to question if it's real. So something that happens very early in the movie is that Joker has this dream sequence while he's watching Murray's television show where he dreams he's in the audience. He laughs at a joke. Murray points him out, brings him down to the stage, says that he really likes him, and then he becomes like part of the show. And it's very clearly defined that it is a dream sequence. But then things start happening later on, particularly a whole thing with Zazie Beetz, where they're like, you making some stuff up, son. Like literally. But then it starts to get to a point where they don't tell you anymore. Wait, did that really happen? Or is he making that up? And when it gets more and more to the movie, and especially when you get this ending part where he's in the hospital or in the asylum being interviewed yet again by another black woman. There's a lot of him talking to black women in this movie. Every person is trying to help him in his therapy sessions. Zazie Beetz. I just thought that was interesting. I just realized that. But it starts to get to a point where you start to feel like, well, maybe this stuff is a little bit ambiguous of what exactly happened versus what didn't. And for me personally, that was what was more interesting about this movie than any of the society treating him this way. Yes, you see that's the transition of the Joker in the movie. And as far as the context of the film, sure. But sometimes the movie itself feels like it's trying to present those types of things to me, the viewer, to make me have my eyes open about this kind of stuff. And I'm like, dude, I know. You're not telling me anything I don't already know. Like, okay, you think this movie's real deep. Let me tell you some of the things this movie will tell you to show you how deep it is. Did you know that rich people are sometimes treated better in society than poor people? Are you aware that government programs used to help people who are less fortunate sometimes gets their funding cut because of the government and rich people? Do you know that people who have a mental illness are sometimes not treated fairly in society, or people don't even take the time to learn and understand their mental illness? Are you aware that people in certain parts of society are treated unfairly or differently than people in other parts of society? Did that blow your mind? Because that's pretty much as deep as Joker gets. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. I get what it's saying, but you're not saying anything I don't know. Why do you think I put myself constantly in the world of fantasy? Because maybe I don't like reality all the time. Life sucks sometimes. That's life. So when a movie tries to tell me that, I'm like, dude, I got it. Trust me. I'm very aware. There's a scene between his character and Robert De Niro's character where Joker is going off about like, oh, society did this and life's a joke and that's why I'm doing the things I'm doing. And Robert De Niro's character basically comes back and goes, nah, man, that's a bunch of excuses. Like, everyone's got hard shit going on. You're just using what's happened to you, sad as it is, as an excuse for you to just do whatever you want. And like, I thought that was the most engaging conversation. If you're talking about that in the context of the movie itself, is this a person who's truly evil? You know, he said it himself, all his thoughts are negative thoughts, and there you can see like there's a little bit of darkness in him. So is that what's doing it, or is it the things that have happened to him, the sadness that he's had to face? That's about the character. That's about the Joker. That's not doing the, oh, what is this like in the real world? It's really not saying anything differently. I mean, the type of stuff that it's doing, which is the, oh, something happened in my life that was bad, therefore I become this villain. We've seen it before. We've seen it before in Batman. Go back to Batman the Animated Series. Think about the origin episodes about Mr. Freeze, or Two-Face, or Clayface, or the Mad Hatter, or Harley Quinn, Baby Doll. Like, all of those episodes showed that these were characters that had something sad happen in their life, or something they felt they were wrong about or was wrong to them, and therefore they became the way they became. But then maybe some larger than life thing happened, like you turn into a bunch of clay or you make yourself a man bat, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's a little bit of an extra thing, but it all still was rooted in something. And also, the trailers might make you feel like, oh, Joker is just being treated wrong, poor guy. Nah, man, the Joker ain't 100% clean in this. I mean, he stalks Zazie Beetz' character hardcore. He brings a gun to a hospital, even though it was a gift given to him. Like, he ain't perfect, all right? He goes up to Bruce Wayne and like puts his hand around, does it. I'm like, no, dude, you don't do that to nobody. And like I said, that takes me back to that conversation with him and Robert De Niro's character. Like, that's what I kind of like that. Yes, you got some issues. Yes, it's sad. These are things that people should have thoughts about and hopefully want to try to change in our world. We do wish that society was better in taking care of people in situations like yourself. On the other hand, you also doing some stuff that ain't right. It's not a one side's right, one side's wrong type of thing, at least for me. There's one scene with the Joker that I was like, this is nice. And that was when two of the guys come to visit him after his mother passed, and Joker does something wrong to one dude. Like, it's probably the most violent thing in the film, in my opinion. But then he talks to the other guy like it's just having a regular conversation. And then the other guy's a little guy, so he's like freaking out and wanting to get out, but he can't reach the door to open it. But Joker's like, oh, I got it for you. And there's this whole time where you're just like, is he literally going to be cool with this guy after doing what he did to another guy right in front of him? Is he just going to let him go, or is he going to be friends with him, or is he going to take him out next? Like, you don't know how the Joker is going to react to this. And that's what I've always liked about the Joker, how unpredictable he is. Whenever the Joker does anything unpredictable in this movie, I'm all about it. But when he does something that's pretty much laid out, oh, someone was bad to him, so he retaliated, that's where it gets like, there's one part where they're like, they keep trying to emphasize, oh, he's gonna go on this show and commit suicide, and I'm like, dude, no, he's not. Like, I know exactly what he's gonna do. Why are you acting like you gonna trick me here? I know what's up. He's about to meet his idol, and his idol made fun of him. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen. But with all that being said, the ending, as I mentioned before, is what makes this movie interesting to me, which is the concept of how much of this is true? Did any of it actually happen, but he's mixing the reality with his own personal visions? And like I said, the movie does, I mean, basically, spoilers. He basically has these interactions with Zazie Beetz' character that in the movie at first, it looks like actually happened. And then at a certain point, he goes in her house, unexpected. She's all like, why are you in my house? I kind of know you, but I don't know you like that. And you're like, what the heck? And then you come to find out that all these interactions that he thought he had with her never existed. They were all just in his brain. And especially because she's saying things like, hey, all that crazy evil stuff you want to do? Yeah, you should do that. That'd be really cool. And I always thought there was something off about it when she was doing it. But then when I saw, you know, the sixth sense of it all, I was like, oh, okay. Now it makes sense. Then there's a part where he puts himself in a refrigerator, and from what I remember, because it's set in the 80s, refrigerators back in the day, would they have gotten to the point now where they could be open from the inside? There's a whole episode of Punky Brewster all about this. So did anything that happened after that moment actually happen? I don't even know if the whole thing happened. What if this dude is just a complete psychopath and he made this entire story up to make it seem like you should be sympathetic for the way that he's being? Maybe none of it's real. All the stuff about his mom, all the stuff about Thomas Wayne, all of that. Maybe it's just all made up. Maybe that's the joke, is that he created this story. And that's why I think it's kind of funny that if that's the theory that you go with, is that he made the whole thing up. And then we, the real world, had a whole bunch of discussion about should we be feeling sympathetic for a character who maybe made up a story about him being sympathetic. Well, that's a joke inside a joke. But that might be giving the movie way too much credit. Probably is. But yeah, that ending kind of gives it this like, ooh, who knows what happened? That is kind of an art house thing to do. That's what's so interesting about this movie, is I wonder personally, just being real here, would we be having as many conversations about this movie if it didn't have the Joker in it? You could do this whole movie without ever calling him Joker. You could take that whole aspect out, you could take the Waynes out, and you could still basically tell this story. Not to say that it's not worth discussing the film, but I'm just wondering if that plays a large part in it. Because if this was just a story about a man who feels that society was treating him wrong and therefore he retaliated, even though he may not have been 100% in the right and had visions of what he thought was true or not true, like these are all elements that have been in movies before. Is the unique part of this movie the fact that it's happening to a character we know from a comic book, which if it was done like a Marvel movie or even other DC movies would not have been done in this art style where you have the slow motion dancing and keeping things moody and silent and dark. Just a thought. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying it's a thought. Okay, there's one thing I gotta make fun of this movie about though. So obviously because it's the Joker and they do establish the Waynes and we get young Bruce Wayne as well as his parents, you know what that means. You know that means you gotta have that scene. And what's so funny about this movie is I think at a certain point the movie forgot it had to have that scene. Because it's going on, there's this whole riot in the streets. He even gets freed from cops and like put up on top of a car and worshipped, and people are wearing clown masks and there's fire everywhere and there's chanting and cheers. People are respecting him. Is it real or not real? We don't know. But all this time this is going on, there was this one guy that was standing in an alley that almost had a look of like, oh, wait, hold on a second. Walks down the alley. Hey, Waynes. Boom, boom. Okay, back to the movie. And so it's like, it seriously felt like they almost forgot. And they show it again later when he's talking about the Joker's all like, I got this joke, and they show a shot of Bruce Wayne with the dead parents, but he's like, but you won't get it. And that's what, you know, I guess is a connection of, but I just loved how the movie was like full-fledged Joker movie mode, and they just literally stopped for this one random dude in the clown mask and go, oh shoot, wait. We supposed to do this. It's canon. Boom, boom. Okay, back to the riot. I know that feels terrible. I'm joking about a parent's death. But I don't know why that just got to me for some reason. Because it literally does feel like, oh, in addendum. We almost forgot. You were about to get out of here, Mr. and Mrs. Wayne. You almost made it. But I'm sorry. Rules are rules. Give me that necklace. Sorry. At the end of the day, man, I think this is a well-made movie. I think it's a well-acted movie. I think that it's not as deep as it sometimes thinks it is. It's a standard story. It's a standard movie. It's a standard origin story. But what helps it is Joaquin Phoenix's performance. Joaquin Phoenix's performance and the way that it's shot. I just think it's a different interpretation and a different take on a character that we know. That's all I think it is. I don't look into it personally any deeper than that. I don't know, man. It's just like, it's just tough because like I feel like there is a real discussion to be had about this film, but I feel like you can't have it. Maybe if I didn't hear all that noise, but because I heard so much noise, therefore expecting to be going into a movie that was going to be super deep, super controversial, and it really wasn't. I don't know, man. I don't know. And I think WB just ran with that. You guys got some free advertisement for this film just because people felt the need to have rhetoric about this. WB was like, keep talking. I'm not going to stop you. Just keep it going. Maybe it is we who are the joke or the butt of the joke of this movie who got a lot of advertising and a lot of talk and a lot of box office from us just chatting about it. And and releasing the movie at a film festival instead of at Comic-Con to be like, this is a different type of movie. This ain't a Comic-Con movie. Only having a certain number of people see the movie a month in advance, so they're already talking about it because you need to be in that social media talk so bad. You got to talk about what they're talking about because you haven't seen it yet yourself. So you have to have your own thoughts about somebody else's thoughts about seeing something you haven't seen just so you can get to be part of a conversation. Oh my God. Good job in playing it right to the bank, baby. You are smart in that sense. That is where you should have Joaquin Phoenix just dancing around as social media goes crazy and be like, it was all the joke the entire time. Oh, man. What was my point of all this again? Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Love you like a play cousin. Audi 5000.